This week we chat to Respawn Entertainment's Abby Happy about one of the most exciting games due out in 2014, Titanfall. It's time to head to Los Santos for the Player Attack review of Grand Theft Auto 5, and Jimmy the Geek finds out what's going on in Watch Dogs with lead writer Kevin Short. This is Player Attack. In the news this week, some handy insight into how the new Steam controller is going to work. Valve has released a handy video showing the new peripheral in action, working with a number of games. The two trackpads are used either in legacy mode, basically replicating keyboard and mouse controls, or in more innovative ways. This is the prototype controller that will be sent out to lucky beta testers before the end of the year, and we are already promised more footage, including game developers using the controller to play their own games. But if you want anything specific, hop onto the Steam Universe forums and tell Valve. There's also a handful of other games this week that are getting new control schemes because they're getting new platforms. First up, the Ultimate Edition of Injustice: Gods Among Us. You'll be able to pick this one up next month on Vita, PC and PS4, as well as Xbox 360 and PS3. So what makes this one so ultimate? The inclusion of all previously released DLC, meaning you will have a hefty roster of available characters the moment you open the box. We're promised touchpad controls on the PS4 and Vita, with some specific details coming soon. The best bit? The new PS3 and Xbox 360 versions will play quite happily with the old ones, so it doesn't matter when you bought your copy, you can still get onto multiplayer with your mates. But there is some bad news as well as the good. There is no word just yet on a version of Injustice for either Xbox One or Wii U. Sorry. Another game making the platform jump is Batman Arkham Origins, which is getting a free mobile tie-in on both iOS and Android in the next few months. The project is being handled by the studio that also dealt with the mobile version of Batman Arkham City Lockdown, that is, Mortal Kombat developer NetherRealm. You will progress through the most dangerous spots in Gotham City, taking on a number of deadly assassins in a storyline that will help you unlock new and exclusive content for Batman Arkham Origins on console and PC. And, of course, it's free. Double Fine's adorable RPG Costume Quest is already out on mobile just in time for Halloween. The 2010 release has been revamped for the touchscreen interface, and you can pick it up right now on the iTunes App Store.
I've been away, but I couldn't tell you where. The city has changed. I've changed. Time's moved on. The powers have shifted. New greaves replaced the old. But to remain free in the city of chains, that is still the greatest prize.
That's our first look at gameplay from the brand new Thief, due out in February 2014. Garrett's return has caused some ripples among the stealth gaming community. The team at Eidos Montreal claim that they're trying to return to the series' roots, but fans of the franchise aren't quite convinced. Meanwhile, comic book fans have been reassured that Telltale Games are on the right track, with the first episode of The Wolf Among Us released on PC and console. That is, most fans have been reassured. Gamers who were looking forward to playing the Fables comic tie-in on Mac, or those who bought it via the Telltale Games store, have been disappointed as unforeseen circumstances have delayed both releases. Also disappointed, German gamers who wanted to get their hands on Dead Rising 3. The Xbox One exclusive has run into trouble as Microsoft was unable to secure an age rating from the country's software self-regulation body. This means the game is effectively banned from sale in Germany until further notice. Australian gamers, you can relax. Dead Rising 3 has been granted R18 and is on track for release alongside the Xbox One on November 22. And just when you thought we'd be able to get through an entire episode of the news without mentioning Grand Theft Auto 5, think again. Rockstar Games has offered gamers a great big pile of cash as a way of apologising for the messy launch of Grand Theft Auto Online. Gamers who have played or will play GTA Online in the month of October will receive a handy $500,000 stimulus package in their in-game bank accounts. The money's being handed out in 250,000 batches, and payouts start as early as this week. Meanwhile, the issues with the game continue to be fixed slowly, with Rockstar seeming to be on top of things. And finally this week, Ubisoft has officially announced post-launch downloadable content for the piratical extravaganza of Assassin's Creed 4, complete with discounted Season Pass. While that might not be surprising, I mean, all games get DLC these days, and most of them have Season Passes, it is the nature of the DLC that is different this time around. If you want to expand the original story, you can pick up a 9-mission self-contained adventure starring Adewale, Edward Kenway's first mate, a former slave. If that intrigues you and you want to snap up a bargain, the Season Pass will give you a 20% saving over the price of buying all the DLC separately, and you will also get an exclusive Kraken pack to customise your Jackdaw, if you're into that sort of thing. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is due out from October 29th for PS3, Wii U and Xbox 360, with versions for PS4 and Xbox One following at launch and a PC edition set for late November. We don't have dates yet for the DLC, but all 5 updates will be out by March 2014. To keep up to date with the latest gaming news, head to playerattack.com, but for now, stick around, we've got plenty more still to come.
You can be hacked. Someone is inside the network. We have seen him.
You wanted the system hacks?
You got me in.
He is not DefSec, and we do not defend him.
Police believe they are closing in on suspected vigilante Aiden Pierce.
Suspect is in a vehicle and attempting to flee.
He is proof
Squad, we're on the scene and in pursuit.
that the CTOS network is flawed.
Watch Dogs is a game where you play as Aiden Pierce, a modern-day vigilante whose most powerful weapon is his smartphone. Aiden's a hacker who's able to control Chicago in the palm of his hand, basically, and that's the promise that we bring to the players. You've got an entire city that you can explore and control at will. Aiden is a guy whose family was hurt quite tragically, and he's out for vengeance to find out the people who attacked his family, and he obsessively protects his own family while he hunts down the ones responsible.
He doesn't seem like a very nice character. What do you do to make this guy likable?
Yeah, it's a good question, because he's very much an anti-hero. We've always thought of him as a guy who, you know, he has noble goals. I think when players understand why he's doing what he's doing, they'll buy into it, they'll understand it. But I think for sure his methods are questionable. You know, we've given this guy the ability to hack into anybody, invade privacy, steal bank account information. He can hack traffic lights that cause accidents. So what he does with that is where the morality comes into play. You know, what kind of guy do you want him to be? But, you know, within all that, yes, Aiden has a dark story. Yes, he's got a dark past that he's trying to reconcile. We want to make sure he's a likable guy at the same time. So the characters that he interacts with, there's a guy, Jordy. Jordy is a fixer that Pierce works with, who helps him out in situations. And Jordy and Pierce have a fun relationship. It's quite an entertaining, comical in a way relationship. And I think players will buy into that. At the same time, the city itself has lots of fun activities you want to end up doing. You know, we don't want it to be just about this single path of Aiden's journey. We want you to be able to go out and explore the open world, because we are presenting you with the whole city. We want to make sure you have some fun with it. So there's lots of opportunities for, you know, city games that you can have fun with.
Okay, I'm lost in Chicago. All I have is my smartphone that can hack absolutely anything. What am I doing with it? What can I do?
Okay, well, here's what's really cool about Watch Dogs, right? Let's say you're lost, like you say, you're at an intersection, you pull out your smartphone, immediately profile information comes up and you start seeing details on people. You're able to hack phone conversations, you're able to pick up rewards from people. The game comes to you. You don't have to go off and find an adventure. It all comes right to you. You can pick up a conversation that tells you about a possible crime that's happening, and you can decide whether you want to go try and stop that crime or not. So it's not the kind of game that you have to run around and go find the opportunities. they can easily come right to you, and I think that's what's fresh about the game. That's what's new about the game. It's very important for us that player expression it's key to Watch Dogs. So any mission that you have, there's many ways you can enter. There's many ways you can solve the situation. Like, for example, let's say you got to get into a secure CTOS building. Well, you could go in, pull out your guns, and just go guns blazing. Choose your way in and just take out everybody. You can go more stealth and take it very quietly and not disturb anybody. Or you just hack a camera and go from this camera to this camera to this camera and find your way right inside, and nobody's ever even known you're there. So the player has a lot of choices on how they want to do it. There's also combining your skills. You've got driving, you've got weapons, you've got hacking. All of those can be combined in any combination that the player decides. They have many tools that they can approach. There's the traffic lights over here, there's bollards over here, steam pipe you can hack into, equipment that you can hack into and try and mess with people. We give the ingredients to the player to let them figure out how they want to solve a situation.
You mentioned there was multiplayer. How does the multiplayer work with such diversity against two players facing off each other, or is it co-op? How does it work?
Yeah, we have a lot of multiplayer going on, but the one thing I can talk about right now is what we call seamless multiplayer. So let's say you're playing your game and you're enjoying your city of Chicago, roaming around, and suddenly I sneak into your game without you even realizing it, and I hack into your hack into your cell phone. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to drop a virus on your phone. Now you immediately can see that I'm doing that, so now you're looking through all the civilians of Chicago trying to find me. Where am I? And you have to stop me before that virus reaches 100%.
We are coming up to the busiest time in the gaming calendar, the dreaded holiday season, and there are some major new releases on the way in the next couple of months, including Call of Duty Ghosts, the brand new FPS from Activision and Infinity Ward. And thanks to Activision and Mother, we have a year's supply of Mother energy drinks to give away. That is 365 cans of caffeine, taurine and guarana, guaranteed to keep you awake for just a little while longer, no matter how late you stayed up the night before fighting against the Federation. In order to win a year's supply of Mother, all you have to do is head to playerattack.com and tell us, in 50 words or less, what game you are most looking forward to this holiday season. The competition is open to anyone in Australia and runs until the end of the month, with the winner announced on Player Attack in early November. For the full terms and conditions, see our website, and please drink responsibly.
We left everything behind. Hell, getting here was just the beginning. You said it would be tough to start over, but I didn't listen. You said more would follow. I thought they'd leave us alone. I was wrong.
I'm here at EB Expo 2013 with Abby from Respawn Entertainment. We are talking about Titanfall, which looks even more amazing than it did when we saw it at E3. What's changed? What's new and exciting and different in the few months since?
Well, you know, we're adding new things all the time because we're in active development. There's a whole crew back at the studio working very hard while I get to talk to you. But, you know, what we're showing here is a new mode called Attrition and a new map called Angel City. It's also the first time that we've had it playable. We've been taking it on a tour. This is our last stop. And it's just really exciting to get to see people play for the first time.
What sort of reaction have you been getting from people who are actually finally able to see more than just videos of this?
It's been awesome. We've really gotten just so much positive feedback. We got the EB Games Game of Show here, and it's just been really exciting, you know, for everybody who's just like busy working on it at Respawn. Like it's just great to hear. It's really inspiring.
For the small handful of people who've managed to miss all of the Titanfall buzz, can you quickly recap what exactly Titanfall is and a little bit of the background?
Sure. So Titanfall is a first-person shooter multiplayer game that features, well, you play as a pilot, and pilots are a really fast class. They can wall run, like parkour around the city, awesome to play as, and then they pilot the Titans, and Titans are like 7 meters. I switched from feet to meters for Australia. They are 7-meter mechs. You pilot one. They've got, you know, big guns, powerful class, lots of fun to play as, stomping on the AI in the game that runs around. and it takes place out on a series of planets we call the Frontier, and the core combat is between the IMC and the militia, the M Corps.
Campaign-driven multiplayer isn't necessarily something that we've really seen before. Why have you guys chosen to go down that direction?
You know, we have like this great multiplayer DNA in our blood, and it was sort of this challenge of how do we incorporate all the single-player designers on our team and make them part of, you know, multiplayer game. And so trying to bring in these like set piece moments, but also characters, story, and all of that. We also have more traditional modes for those of you who just want to hop in and, you know, like play with your buddies, you know, play some quick attrition or hard points modes. But you know, really, I think it was, you know, partially trying to challenge ourselves to do something new and to make a really, really fleshed out, in-depth multiplayer experience.
Now, people might have noticed that we are at the Xbox One stand at EB. Can you tell us which platforms is the game coming out on? Because it's not quite as multi-platform as we've seen most games are these days.
No, so Titanfall is coming out on Xbox One, on Xbox 360, and on PC.
Was there any reason behind that decision?
Well, you know, we're a small studio. When we first started out, we chose Microsoft as a partner because we've had a great relationship with them in the past. And for us, being able to focus on one platform is really great. And then past that, we're using the power of the cloud. I know it's a marketing term, everybody's sick of hearing it, but for us it means that we're able to have dedicated servers across all platforms, which is, if you're a multiplayer gamer, awesome. You know, so it's been a great choice for us.
There are two playable factions in the game. Are they balanced, or is there some asynchronous stuff going on there?
No, I mean, both sides are equal. You know, we're not going to give one the advantage over the other. I mean, and same thing with the pilots and the Titans. I mean, pilots are totally capable of taking down Titans, and Titans can obviously take down pilots. They have a little bit of a size advantage. You know, but we're a multiplayer game. Balance is key. If the game's not balanced, I'm a community manager. I'm going to hear about it. I hate when people yell at me on the internet, so yeah, balance is something really important to us.
And now, obviously, there's a massive focus on multiplayer. How many people can play this game simultaneously?
So at E3, we showed 5 versus 5. Here we're showing 6 versus 6. We haven't settled on a final player count. It's one of the nice things, and it steps back into what I was talking about with balance, is that, you know, the team is constantly playing the game and making sure that it feels right and that it's the right number of players, you know, to make the world feel populated enough, but not be overwhelming.
Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather. Or the... I don't know, that thing. That magic. You see it in the movies. I wanted to retire from what I was doing, you know? From that line of work. Be a good guy for once. A family man.
I knew Grand Theft Auto 5 was going to be good. It's a freaking Rockstar game. But good was an understatement. Good was like saying I didn't poop myself with excitement the first time I saw the Brachiosaurus in Jurassic Park. If you didn't, you either don't know amazing when you see it, or you have bowel control. The ambitious scope and sheer artistic beauty of GTA 5 blew my mind, and you need to know why. First things first, we're back in sunny Los Santos, baby. It's all back. Grove Street, Mount Chiliad, the rest of the places. Leaving behind the claustrophobic concrete jungle that was Liberty City, Rockstar's now blessed us with a whole region. Everything about the landscape pushes my 360 to its limit, with exceptional draw distance and amazing transitional data light cycles. You want to plonk your ass on the top of the highest peak and watch the delicate glow bathe the city as the sun sets. Back up, Johnny, you've jumped ahead of yourself there. Characters are kind of instrumental to the whole game, and this time, instead of one avatar of crime and destruction, you have 3. First up is Michael, a 40-year-old retired bank robber, the closest to a winner in the GTA universe. He has a massive house, Scrooge McDuck levels of bank, and a family that loathes his very existence. Up next is Franklin, a low-level, petty criminal trying to go straight and make it out of the hood by inadvertently becoming Michael's protege of sorts. Franklin is our connection to the gangbangers, substance abusers, and downtrodden in the glitz and the glamour of this bizarre representation of LA. Then finally we have Trevor. Every time this character is on screen, I don't know whether my chair has a back anymore. I'm so on edge. What's coming next? Joke? Hug? Repeated stamping on someone's face whilst yelling Expletus? These qualities should make him detestable, but with the clever writing, humor, and most importantly interplayed relationships between him and his other cohorts, you see a softer, fiercely loyal side. Having 3 playable protagonists is a huge step in the right direction for telling a more cohesive and believable story than any other GTA installment before it. The game no longer forces inappropriate characters to undertake inappropriate missions. If you need to take part in illegal street races, Franklin's your man. Going to mercilessly gun down waves of hipsters for wearing ironic shirts? Time for old unhinged Trevor to do his thing. This small addition to the gameplay does a surprising amount to keep me immersed in the world. The missions are also far more forgiving this time around, with many refinements being made to the gameplay since GTA 4. First major one, the cars no longer handle like overweight boats. They're now on par with the arcade realistic cars of Forza Horizon, which makes for so much less frustration. The biggest improvement by far is, get ready for it, mid-mission checkpoints. No longer do you have to do that 20-minute drive of nothingness after overestimating the ability of your souped-up scooter to make that insane jump. It seems like something so basic by nowadays standards, but by God is it a welcome inclusion. After all the banks are plundered and gangbangers are, well, banged, what else is there to do? You're living in Los Santos, what can't you do? I actually found myself ignoring the missions most of the time just to do my own thing, which surprisingly didn't involve 5 stars and an inevitable trip to the hospital. Instead, I'd switch to Michael, whack on my Spandau Ballet-esque grey suit, and go watch some movies at the cinema. Maybe stop some petty crime with no illusion of reward, swim in the ocean, still in my suit may I add, base jump, hell, I even played some passive-aggressive tennis against my wife. There is just so many things you can do. Then something dawned on me. I was doing it all by myself. You have a phone with a wicked extensive contact list, but nobody ever picks up when you call them. I missed being called to go bowling, even if I was going to turn him down. In a massive, bustling, alive city, I felt alone, and that was kind of depressing. And while we're on the topic of depressing, another thing the GTA games just can't seem to shake is a negative portrayal of, you've guessed it, women. Before any of you can pick up your torches and form a lynch mob, here's my beef. In 2010, Rockstar released Red Dead Redemption, essentially GTA with cowboys, and it was awesome. Within RDR, there is a female character by the name of Bonnie, and she is fantastic. She is an unwed, by choice, ranch-operating gunslinger who is a powerful blend of kindness and toughness. This shows Rockstar understands how to make a likable, believable, empowered female character, yet in GTA, I always struggle to find one. GTA 5 is no exception. Each major female character is against you, there to emasculate you, or there for you to empower yourself. In a world I was so constantly immersed in, normal societal things like the lack of believable women should not be niggling away in the back of my mind, threatening to pull me out. Regardless of these few things, GTA 5 is, well, the Jurassic Park of its time. It's beautiful to behold, stupid amounts of fun to play, a great step in mature storytelling, and technologically so far ahead of its competition. It simply is a masterpiece that all other sandbox games will be compared to for years to come. Oh, and Rockstar? A DLC package where you get to play as a badass woman like Mallory from Natural Born Killers would be awesome. Just saying.
And that's about it for this edition of Player Attack. Thanks for watching. Next week, for something completely different, we take a look at one of this season's must-have kids games, Skylanders Swap Force. The Undead take over the Xbox One with Dead Rising 3 from Capcom, and we find out a bit more of what Eidos plans to do with that brand new Thief reboot. In the meantime, you can catch us on playerattack.com. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And if you've got something you want to say, send us an email, mailbox@playerattack.com, or just hop on our forums. Till next week, I'm Jessica Citizen, and this is Player Attack.